This is a Shiradara treatment. Shiradara is a Sanskrit word. It comes from Ayurvedic medicine in India, and it means thread-like stream. This is part of their what we call panchakarma treatments. It's to help clean the body, detoxify the body, to bring it back into balance so that the body can heal. It's what we call a vata treatment, one of the doshas. The three doshas are pitta, kapha, and vata. And vata is the one of movement. When people become very distracted, very stressed, it's a way of bringing you back down and relaxing you. Usually what the oil is that's used on the body and in the hair would be a vata dosha oil. Or you can use sesame oil. You could use sweet almond oil. And basically a lot of different things if you'd like. It doesn't have to be an oil. Sometimes milk is used, buttermilk, ghee, butter. But what we're doing today is a relaxing treatment, and we're going to be using hair oil that's made specifically for this treatment. I prefer, this company is called Bindi. The lady who formulates this, her name is Dr. Pachur, and she is a naturopathic doctor and an Ayurvedic doctor. She has a wonderful blend. It's all made here in America, and it's really, really great. This is called herbal hair oil. Herbal hair oil. Like I said, you have a choice. There's many other ones that you can use, but this is a really great formula. This is what we call an infused oil. She has infused into sweet almond oil and safflower the herb brahmi, jasmine, lavender. There are no chemicals or preservatives used in that oil. What I like to do is also add an oil called neem oil. It's very antiseptic, very healing. If they have any irritation of the scalp, this is a great thing to add to your oil. Now this is neem, brahmi, basil, camphor, essential oil, and sandalwood and rose. So it's a great, great formula. Add those two together. Now you only need a little bit of this, I'd say a quarter cup to a gallon of oil. The quantity you're going to use in your stand, there are many different kinds of stands you can get to. Some are very inexpensive, but you want one that you can rely on. If it's got a very simple little wing nut valve on it, it may not be as reliable as you'd like for the oil to stream, because remember, it has to be a thread-like stream, and it has to be a steady stream. This stand is also from Bindi, and it has a larger capacity and a very well-made spout on it. The valve works very, very well. You have great control over it. It is a bit cumbersome, but it's very easy to use. The table must be at the height all the way up. So you're going to bring them up to as close to the pot as possible. Now you'll notice here at Broward we have top state-of-the-art equipment, so we do have the hydraulic tables for you to use. We do have the Bindi products. We do have the Bindi stand. When we use the Shiradara treatment, what we're going to do is put warmed oil in here, create a very thin stream, which is going to fall onto his third eye, here on his brow, back over his head, and down into a bowl. So you want to set up your equipment in a very sanitary way so that you're not going to get oil everywhere. What I like to use is Mylar, a Mylar sheet that you can buy. Sometimes it's sold as a sports blanket. But I want to show you another great thing about being here at Broward is we do quite a few charity events. We go out and do different things with the students to help raise money around the community and in Florida in general. And every year we try to go up to the Disney Marathon that's held in January and help out to help raise money for lymphoma and lymphedema by volunteering there. And they very graciously give us some of the Mylar sheets that are left over. So we're going to put this, now I have his head on a face cradle right now just because I'm demonstrating, but when I start doing the actual service, what I'm going to do is put a rolled washcloth under his neck. That's all the support that you want. Their head needs to be tilted back slightly, So I'm going to have him move back to the end of the table and let his head fall off the edge just a little bit so that we can guide the oil down the back of his head. When I set this up, I'm going to put the mylar underneath his head to cover the sheets at the end of the table, and I'm going to put a bowl in the floor with the mylar going into the bowl. So any oil that comes down the back of his head is going to be channeled into this bowl. You're going to need a couple of towels to put under it just in case something spills, and you can catch it, or you could put another rubberized mat under there if you'd like. It's kind of up to you. But you just really have to be careful and think about how you're going to do this so that you don't create a big mess. Because remember, as a therapist, you're the one who has to clean it up. Okay, lift your head for me. Oops. And put your head back down. Now, he's pretty good where he's at right now. I'm really not going to need to ask him to move back because you can see his forehead's tilted down a little bit. Are you comfortable, Arthur? Mm-hmm. Okay. Make sure they're comfortable. Make sure they're warm. And then we're going to put the bowl in the floor. I'm going to bring the mylar edges up and make kind of like a funnel for the plastic wrap for the mylar to go down into the bowl. Now, you don't want a lot of noise being made. Sorry, but I had this with me. Okay, so what we're going to do is in that bowl, we're going to put some Kleenex, some tissues, so that you don't hear that crinkly sound as the oil pours down the back of the table. And add as many as you think you're going to need. And if it begins to make noise as you work, put some more in there, because you don't want to distract them. All right, I'm going to put a towel underneath that just in case I spill oil. Now, you can sit while you do this service, or you can stand. I usually stand because I want to make sure I have good control of the oil as it comes out of the pot onto his head. Now, if it were being done in the strictest sense, you really do need to hold the pot, because what you're going to do is you're going to move the pot back and forth, and you're going to sweep the forehead several times during the treatment across his head, and then bring it back to the third eye. Now, you want to make rivulets into the hair. If it's a lady with really long hair, you're going to need to run your fingers through their hair like this to keep the oil against their scalp. You can do a little bit of a massage of the scalp as the oil goes into the head, as it pours down. But you are going to come back and you are going to massage at the end of the treatment. The treatment should last around 10 minutes. So you're going to need about a quart of the oil, not 8 ounces. A lot of places where you go to get this service, they only use 8 ounces of treatment oil, and that's really not long enough to get the benefit that you'd like to get from this service. Then we're going to do a bindi as well, which is, like I said, it's a wrap for the body. And you're going to use this product. It's an herbal body treatment. It's plant material. You're going to mix it with water, equal amounts, about a tablespoon of product and water. We're going to make a paste and apply it to the body. And this is going to help him with his detoxing. Now you're going to put him between two warm towels for this treatment, which I will show you in a bit. First we're going to do the Shiradara. This is really just for demonstration purposes. Just remember, if you did this service for real, you're going to put these two things together. So you'd have him wrapped up, and while he's wrapped and being quiet, you'll do the Shiradara treatment. Okay? You do not have to do the bindi with this treatment. This is a standalone treatment. If they wanted to come in and just have this done, that's perfectly okay. And in most instances, they would have just the Shiradara done. If you're going to sit on a stool to do this service, you're going to need to cover yourself with a towel. So don't forget to put a towel across your lap for any spills that might happen. Now I've got some oil already mixed up that we're going to put in here. Be sure that you keep your pot clean. After every service, you have to clean the pot. Pipe cleaners are what you're going to need to use to clean out the spout and make sure that your valve works properly. So this is closed at a 90-degree angle. All the way down would be open. I put a little bit of water in there to make sure that I had a free opening. So up is closed, down is open. What you're going to do is very slowly open that valve until you get the stream that you want. When you see it begin to stop and go into just drops, you're going to close it very quickly. You're going to start it off the head first and bring it onto the head. When you stop the treatment, you're going to take it off and then close the valve, so that they don't feel that start and stop. It's all just a smooth move for them. And let me get the oil. 98 degrees is a really good temperature for this oil, but like with everything in the work that we do, we want to make sure it's safe. So if I put this, just like I'm testing milk for a baby, if I do it on my forearm, close to my elbow, and I'm not, it doesn't bother me for the heat, I'm pretty much sure it's going to be okay for them. But we do definitely want to be sure. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to test this on their forehead. Take a little oil on your fingertips, rub it right there, and ask them if that temperature is okay. Is that temperature okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. Make sure your valve is closed, and you're going to pour your oil. So like I said, about a quart. So that's 16 ounces, not 8. We're going to adjust the stand so that it brings the pot directly over where you want it to flow. Now, because I want total control, I'm not really going to sit down, because if I do, I'm not going to be able to hold the pot correctly, and I may not have the stream where I want it to be. If you're very concerned that you might get oil in their eyes, you can roll a tissue up, or a couple of them, and form a band that you tuck under their head, and then if you come back up a little high with the oil, it won't be getting into their eyes. So I'm going to open up the valve without it touching his head, just enough to make a very, very thin stream. I'm going to move it back onto his third eye. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. And we're just going to let them relax as we apply the oil. And as I said, he doesn't have a lot of hair, but if you're working on someone with a lot of hair, you're going to want to make little rivulets with your fingers as pathways for the oil to travel down. So I'm going to make sure it stays on the third eye, the 6th chakra, sometimes called the brow chakra. And actually what we're doing is, by placing warmth on the frontal lobe of the brain, you're bringing extra blood flow into that part of the brain. For worrying, most of the time what people do is they keep this thought process looping, looping, looping through their limbic system. It's a very emotional way of thinking. And what your limbic system does is keep all those thoughts tied to past experiences. So past fears are always going to be a big part of what you're thinking about. So you're unable to come up with new thoughts about a situation. But by doing this, by bringing the blood flow into the frontal lobe, where you can have rational thought, it gives you a better perspective on dealing with whatever's going on with you. So there is a scientific basis to why this would be beneficial. The word Ayurvedic means the science of longevity. So Spock in Star Trek and the Vulcans are very much Ayurvedic. They say to live long and prosper. And it's a lifestyle, it's a choice of thought patterns, which is what Ayurvedic is. So you would be very quiet, and you would bring it back and forth, and let it concentrate on that frontal lobe. This also affects the pineal gland, which is your bio-oscillator of the body, sets the rhythms of the body. And by the entrainment of bringing this forward and having this extra heat there, you can help reset the rhythms of the body as well. Now you could put an eye pillow on your client's eyes. Safety, remember you always put a Kleenex between any material you place on the eyes and the eyes themselves. You want to create a very restful environment, so you would have low lighting, possibly candles, maybe aroma, and some soft music playing. Now, because this is for demonstration purposes, I'm not going to do this for the full 10 minutes. Just remember, you do want it to last 10 minutes. You want to make that stream as small as possible. Create a very quiet, restful environment for the service to be performed in. Then, if you see it begin to drip, or you're going to end your service, slowly take it off the head. Close the valve. Now we're going to get this out of our way. So you're going to have to bring your stand back to the side so that it's no longer over their head. Now you can sit down, because now you're going to do a scalp massage. You can push that bowl up a little closer, or you can stand. Use a wide, let me get this out of the way. Use a wide base horse stance, and be sure to rock your weight. Don't stand in one spot for too long, and perform your scalp massage. You can do it with the head stationary. You could add a little scalp massage, a little neck massage to this, and you're going to go under the head as well. This is a very calming and soothing technique. You can add it to any treatment that you do, but you're going to use your thenar eminence under your thumb. Place them parallel, push in, and just slide your palms across their forehead, turning them down as you go. Lighten your pressure and come back. The magic number is 3. Now that you've kind of cleaned any excess oil that might be on his forehead, now you can move his head. So you may want to turn the head, continue with your massage down the neck, help the neck relax on either side. A little tractioning. You can do some ranging. Cross-directional stretching. And back. Now, this is a very heavy type of oil, so you're definitely going to want to take it off. We usually use warm towels. I would remove it from the shoulders. If I've added this with a bendy treatment, his body is already wrapped up with oil, and I'm going to remove everything. So I'm going to have towels to remove it from everything, his face and his body. If you do just the Shiradara, you're going to need towels for the shoulders, the décolleté area, and the face. Now, if you'd like, and if they would like, you can do a facial treatment itself with a product to clean the skin, and then a dosha-specific oil that is good for the face. Any of the bendy treatments would be great, or the bendy products would work very well. If you have something of your own that you'd like to use, just remember it has to be a treatment or an oil that can be used on the face, because some can't. The facial pores are very large, and for some products you need to be careful. So Bendy also has a wonderful cream that you can use on the face. Now what we're going to do is kind of end everything with Marma points. Marma points are what we call convergence in the body, where 5 different structures come together, and by massaging them you kind of release any blockages there to allow everything to flow through that area, and very, very restful, and it's very healing, especially on the face. So we're going to start with the Marmas. You're going to use these 3 fingers, your ring finger, tall, and index. We're going to walk the energy off the face, so we're going to start at the chin, overlap them. When you learn to do energy points, you'll see for the most part they're little dips in the body. So there's a little dip right there. That's our first point. You can hold it, you can be still, you can make little clockwise circles, you can add a little vibration to it. It's kind of up to you. That's why we say it's an art and a science. How do you apply that science? That's where your art comes in. We're going to walk up with our middle finger, tall finger, to the corners of the mouth. Now I'm not on the mouth, I don't want to get this in his mouth. I'm just where his teeth occlude on either side. Then I'm going to walk up with my index finger and place that next to the nostrils where they meet the face. If you press down, you'll find you're in a little dip above the root for the eye tooth. Back to your tall finger, you're going to be at the base of the cheekbone, and you're going to rotate your hands out. Lay the side of the index finger just inside the orbit of the eye. And you're going to be gentle here. You may want to do a little pumping action if there's a little edema there, a little discoloring. This is the difficult part because I'm going to reach around with my ring finger and bring that up to the corner of his eye. So my hands look like this. I've made a little tripod. Then I'm going to swing my fingers around. So I'm on the canthus of the eye. And if you move back and forth, you'll see there's a dip there. Go back to your tall finger. Above the arc of the brow, you'll see there's, and you can even see it on his face, there's a little dip right there. Then I'm going to come to the bridge of the nose. And I'm going to lift up and do a little stretching there. Put your right thumb on the third eye. There's a marma here at the hairline, another marma point there. You want to be right at the hairline. And then on the fontanelle, on the crown chakra on the top of the head, bring the energy out, and you're done.